Hey, Wolf Dog Motor Warriors fans, welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be talking about the 2024 Harley-Davidson Street Glide. We've got a stack of brochures here. We've got articles, first-hand accounts, all the stuff that we need to really, break this bike down. And yeah, get ready to drool, Wolf Dog fans, because we're diving into this beauty. And for you visual learners out there, be sure to check out www.harley-davidson.com. You will not be disappointed.
It's really exciting to see how Harley is evolving. This isn't just like a refresh. They really took a step back and said, how do we make this classic icon cutting edge?
Okay, let's unpack that. Let's start with the design.
Yeah.
That bat wing fairing, it's instantly recognizable. But it's different.
Yeah, it's different. It's subtle evolution, I'd say. They've sculpted the lines, gives it a more aggressive yet streamlined feel. And the integrated LED lighting, that's not just for looks. It improves visibility, especially at night. Huge safety win.
I read they used computational fluid dynamics CFD to fine-tune the aerodynamics. Isn't that usually reserved for, race cars and fighter jets?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It really shows the commitment to rider comfort. By analyzing airflow, they minimized buffeting and drag, which translates to a smoother, less fatiguing ride, especially at high speeds. And those adjustable vents. Genius. Riders can customize the airflow based on their preferences and the weather conditions.
So they've modernized the look. They made it even more functional. But let's be honest, it's a Harley. We're here for the engine.
Of course we are, and they have not disappointed. The Milwaukee 8 117 V-twin, heart of this beast, more power, more torque. But the real story is the liquid-cooled heads.
I admit when I first heard liquid-cooled Harley, I was skeptical. Does that mess with the character?
It's actually a brilliant move, especially for the Street Glide. Think about long rides, stop-and-go traffic. Those air-cooled engines can get really hot. Liquid cooling maintains a consistent temperature, meaning not only better performance, but a more comfortable ride in any condition.
So it's not just about chasing bigger numbers. It's about making that riding experience better overall.
Mm-hmm.
But they did chase some numbers. Didn't they shave off a chunk of weight, too?
They did indeed. 18 pounds lighter than the previous model. That's significant. It translates to quicker acceleration, sharper handling, improved braking. This bike is leaner and meaner in all the right ways.
It's like they took everything riders love about the Street Glide, and they amplified it. But before we get too lost in the thrills, I got to ask about the tech. The Skyline OS. It's like they dropped a tablet onto the dash.
Yeah, and it's about time. This is Harley embracing the connected rider experience. The 12.3-inch TFT display is gorgeous. The functionality is impressive. Navigation, music, phone connectivity, it's all there. Plus, it's customizable so riders can prioritize the info they need the most.
Hold on, I'm picturing myself. Cruising down the highway tunes, blasting GPS, guiding me towards the horizon. I got to check this out in person. Wolf Dog Motor Warriors listeners, head to www.harley-davidson.com and take a look. It's worth it.
Absolutely. And speaking of personalized riding experience, did you see they included selectable ride modes?
Yeah. Road Sport Rain. Even a custom mode. This is getting serious.
It's a game changer for a cruiser like this. These modes adjust things like throttle response, engine braking, and traction control, tailoring the bike's performance to the rider's needs and the conditions.
So whether you're carving canyons, cruising the coast, or battling a sudden downpour, the Street Glide has you covered. Okay, I'm officially hooked. What else have we got?
Yeah, we talked about the big ticket items, but there's some smaller details that really round out the package. For example, that 6-gallon fuel tank, that's not just about convenience, it's a statement.
Right. It says, fill her up and let's get lost for a while. No range anxiety here.
Right.
But speaking of getting lost, this isn't just a straight line cruiser. They actually increased the lean angle, didn't they?
They did. 32 degrees of lean. Might not sound like much to the sport bike crowd, but for a big bagger like the Street Glide, it's a huge improvement. It means you can confidently tackle those twisty back roads without scraping those hard bags.
And speaking of those bags, they're not just luggage. They're part of that iconic Street Glide silhouette. What did they do with them this time around?
They've refined the shape, given them a slightly more modern look, while maintaining that classic hard bag style. And don't forget the contrast cut wheels, 19 inches up front, 18 in the rear. Shod with Dunlop tires, designed specifically for the Street Glide's weight and performance.
Form and function, baby. It all works together.
But enough about specs. Let's talk about the experience. Harley had Letitia Klein and Mike Wolf take this thing out on the Olympic Peninsula. Come on, that's the perfect backdrop for a Street Glide, right?
It's an inspired choice. The Olympic Peninsula embodies that rugged, adventurous spirit that the Street Glide is all about. Think winding coastal roads, towering forests, breathtaking vistas. It's a place that demands a bike that's both capable and comfortable.
And from what I've read, they weren't exactly taking it easy on this bike. They pushed it through those twisties, logged some serious miles.
And they came back raving about it. Letitia specifically mentioned how impressed she was with the handling and how comfortable the ride was even after hours in the saddle. That speaks volumes. It's one thing to read about the specs, but hearing it from experienced riders who've put the bike through its paces, that's the real deal.
Absolutely. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Harley-Davidson is laser focused on elevating that riding experience.
They're not just throwing tech at it for the sake of tech, they're using it to enhance the things that make riding a Harley-Davidson special. The freedom, the connection to the road, the pure joy of the open highway.
It's a balancing act, but they seem to have found that sweet spot with the 2024 Street Glide.
Okay, before we wrap this up, got to remind everyone to check out www.harley-davidson.com. Seriously, the details on this bike are amazing, but the big question is, what does this all mean? Yeah, we've covered the redesign, the power boost, the tech infusion, but what's the takeaway for riders? What does this Street Glide say about Harley-Davidson in 2024?
Well, what's fascinating here is how Harley-Davidson is walking this tightrope. They're embracing technology and innovation, but they're doing it in a way that doesn't alienate their core audience.
It's like they're saying, hey, we're moving forward, but we're not forgetting where we came from.
Yeah.
And that's a tough balance to strike.
Yeah, it is. Think about that liquid-cooled engine. Some die-hard Harley fans, they might see that as sacrilege. But when you explain the benefits, the improved performance, the enhanced rider comfort, it starts to make sense. It's progress, not compromise.
Yeah, and that seems to be the theme across the board. The redesigned fairing, the advanced electronics, the rider modes, they're all about making the Street Glide a better motorcycle without sacrificing its soul.
Exactly. They're not just slapping on gimmicks. They're carefully integrating technology. To enhance that riding experience, it's a smart approach. And I think it will resonate with a wide range of riders.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what's next. Will we see electric Harleys? Autonomous cruising? Who knows? But one thing's for sure, Harley-Davidson is not afraid to evolve.
And that's exciting. The motorcycle landscape is changing rapidly, and it's great to see an iconic brand like Harley-Davidson leading the charge.
Well, Wolfdog Moto Warriors fans, that's our deep dive into the 2024 Harley-Davidson Street Glide. Hopefully we've given you a good sense of what this bike is all about, but honestly, words can only do so much.
Yeah, you really need to experience it for yourself. Head over to www.harley-davidson.com and check it out. You won't be disappointed.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. And until next time, Wolfdog Moto Warriors fans, keep the rubber side down.